Have you ever wondered how our displays of wealth and success online have consequences in the real world? Is it possible to become so obsessed with portraying an image of perfection that we forget to see humanity in those around us? What dark motives might lurk beneath the surface of someone's social media persona? These are the kinds of questions that people were asking after the death of Saul Murray, a 33-year-old father of 6 from Luton. He proudly flaunted 2 counterfeit Rolex watches on Instagram, unwittingly falling prey to a honey trap on February 27, 2022. This ultimately led to his demise, as a group of men and women orchestrated a plan to rob and tragically kill him. Who are the perpetrators who transformed from mere robbers to killers? And how did they connect with Saul? Let's take a deeper dive. Welcome back to Urban Crime Stories. In this episode, we will dive into the tragic case of Saul Murray. On Sunday, February 27, 2022, the call that came into the emergency department of the city of Luton, United Kingdom was brief and to the point. A night shift worker at an apartment building on Newtown Street had just stumbled upon a horrific sight. A man sprawled on the floor at the foot of his door, with a deep gash in one of his legs. The man's naked body lay in a pool of blood, his eyes staring blankly at the ceiling. The apartment was silent except for the sound of rain dripping from the gutters outside. The night shift worker's voice trembled as he speaks. Upon immediate response by authorities to the scene, they found a man lying deceased in the hallway of his apartment. The man was later identified as Saul Murray, aged 33, and it was evident that he had succumbed to multiple stab wounds. As the investigation unfolded, authorities uncovered an imperceptible mistake made by Saul Murray that ultimately proved to be the cause of his death. Saul Murray, who was born in 1989, was a father of 6 children and had a close circle of friends and family. He had recently been released from prison after serving 5 years for possession of a prohibited firearm and ammunition. He had moved into a flat in Bedfordshire in an attempt to make a fresh start after his release. Despite his attempts to turn over a new leaf, Saul's social media activity may have put him in harm's way. His posts of expensive watches may have caught the attention of people with criminal intent. It is unclear if this played a role in the tragic events that were to follow, but it certainly seems like a factor that should not be overlooked. The flashy images of Saul Murray adorned with luxurious watches caught the attention of Surpreet Dhillon, a 36-year-old mother of 1. On February 6, 2022, she initiated text exchanges with Saul through the popular social network Instagram, where he frequently shared photos of his Rolex watches. From the outset, Dhillon displayed a keen interest in Saul, who remained oblivious to the fact that her intentions were far from genuine affection. Instead, her sole objective was to acquire the Rolex watches featured in Saul's pictures. The conversation eventually shifted to WhatsApp, and after several weeks of messaging, Surpreet and Saul agreed to meet at his apartment for a more intimate encounter. 17 days after the initial message exchange, at approximately 10 p.m. on February 26, 2022, Surpreet Dhillon, accompanied by another woman identified as Temidayo Aw, approached the apartment building where Saul resided. Security cameras documented Saul meeting them outside the building, and the trio walked down the hallway together to Saul's apartment, where they intended to engage in a threesome. This encounter occurred just 6 hours before Saul's lifeless body was discovered. Upon inspecting the contents of Saul's cell phone, Luton detectives uncovered crucial messages indicating that Surpreet had invited Saul for a drink just before their meeting. The exchange unfolded as follows. Saul initiated the conversation. "Hey babe, what are you up to tonight? I was going to meet my girl in your neighborhood tonight. Are you busy?" Surpreet responded, "Yeah, I'm free until about 1. Saul confirmed the plan. "Okay babe, I'll see you around 10. Is that cool?" Surpreet agreed. "Yeah, that's good for me." Saul inquired about drinks. "Are we drinking?" Surpreet affirmed. "Yes, why not?" Saul concluded. "Cool babe, see you soon." The final message from Surpreet sought Saul Murray's address. "What's your zip code, babe?" This marked the conclusion of the last WhatsApp conversation in Saul's life. Inside the apartment, Saul and the 2 women conversed, enjoyed a few drinks, and shared moments of intimacy. However, the tranquility of the night took a dark turn, as security cameras captured a sequence of unsettling and sinister images. At 2:27 a.m., the cameras documented Temidayo Aw walking alone down the hallway, exiting the premises. Notably, she ensured to leave the building's door carefully ajar. Almost immediately, less than 20 minutes later, at 2:45 a.m., Surpreet swiftly traversed the hallway, reaching the entrance. There, she deliberately left the door slightly open, ensuring easy re-entry for herself and Temidayo into Saul's apartment. Their sinister plan was set in motion, and unbeknownst to Saul, his time was swiftly running out. As Temidayo snapped photos on her cell phone outside the building, a Mercedes-Benz pulled up in the parking lot. Two hooded figures emerged from the car, their faces obscured by the darkness. They entered the building without hesitation, their swift and efficient movements suggesting that they knew exactly what they were doing. 10 minutes later, the four figures were seen running from the building, one of them clutching a bloodied knife. Inside, Saul Murray had tried to call for help, but it was too late. He had been mortally wounded by the knife, and he collapsed in a pool of blood. Although the security cameras captured the events that occurred, it was too late for Saul. Forensic tests revealed that both Temidayo and Surpreet had intimacy with Saul shortly before his death. In addition, high levels of the drug GHB, known as the date rape drug, were found in his blood and urine. This drug, which is only available on the black market, can cause sedation and hypnotic effects. However, in this case, the expected effects did not occur. Instead, this led Surpreet and Temidayo to instruct the two accomplices to incapacitate Saul so they could steal. Temidayo Aw and Surpreet Dhillon were arrested for murder. Temidayo, the youngest from Saunders Street in Gillingham, Kent, and a Coventry University student, was found with a matching green coat at her home. Despite initially denying any involvement and claiming trauma, she was taken into custody. Surpreet Dhillon, from Carnarvon Road in Stratford, East London, with a significant criminal record, was the first suspect arrested. Both women, during questioning, refused to provide statements. Surpreet denied knowing the hooded men connected to Saul's apartment and refused to explain the blood trail. Identifying the other two hooded men proved challenging initially, but investigators eventually succeeded. They combed the area, studied routes, and obtained access to nearby security cameras. The key breakthrough came with the identification of the vehicle involved, a Mercedes-Benz A-Class, parked near Saul Murray's house. Through meticulous analysis of the vehicle's routes in collaboration with the National ANPR database, the third suspect in Murray's murder was pinpointed: Cleon Brown, a 29-year-old resident of King Edward's Road, Hackney, East London. Brown's arrest revealed incriminating evidence, including bloodstains on his tracksuit and images of the coat found at his residence. Despite being confronted with CCTV footage and detailed route information from GPRS technology, Brown and others involved in the case refused to cooperate or share any information. During interrogation, Brown, when shown pictures at a gas station where he cleaned the vehicle's interior with a vacuum cleaner, maintained silence and declined to answer questions. The fourth suspect in Saul Murray's murder was identified as 31-year-old Akeem Afia, residing in Shore Place, London. Detectives traced Afia's movements days before the murder using CCTV footage and vehicle telematics. Notably in the footage, Afia wore a Moncler coat valued at over £1,300 British, the same coat he wore on the night of Saul Murray's murder. Authorities highlighted that the Moncler coat played a crucial role in tracking down Akeem Afia. As time passed and evidence mounted against her, Surpreet Dhillon confessed that her intention with Saul was robbery, not murder. She admitted to robbing 6 individuals from October 2021 to February 2022, using honeytraps, with Temidayo Aw involved in 4 incidents. CCTV footage strongly linked Akeem Afia to the crime, resulting in his successful murder conviction. The 4 culprits responsible for Saul Murray's death were brought to justice. Detective Inspector Dale Mepstead, in charge of the case, described it as a planned attack, orchestrated by Dhillon. She emphasized that the 2 women sedated Mr. Murray, and Afia was armed with a knife, tragically resulting in Murray's demise. Following a 10-week trial, the 4 defendants were convicted on March 23, 2023. Akeem Afia received a life sentence, Cleon Brown received 11 years for involuntary manslaughter, and 9 years for conspiracy to commit robbery. Surpreet Dhillon was sentenced to 10 years for manslaughter and 10 years for conspiracy to commit robbery, while Temidayo Aw received 7 years for manslaughter and 6 years for conspiracy to commit robbery. All sentences will be served concurrently. Judge Michael Simon acknowledged that Saul Murray's life was brutally cut short, leaving a void in the hearts of his loved ones. Colin Murray, Saul's father, expressed the ongoing pain and trauma during the trial, stating that the security camera footage of his son's final night haunts him daily. Judge Simon characterized Dhillon's predatory lifestyle as participating in an easy money game with the potential to go wrong, as it tragically did. A clip captured after Dhillon's arrest showed her sobbing, falsely assuring her son over the phone that she was innocent. The Rolex watches Saul posed with were revealed to be fakes, and with no valuables in his possession, his death was deemed even more tragic. In a sense, he died for nothing. In the aftermath of Saul's death, the perpetrators were held accountable for their actions. Surpreet Dhillon's confession shed light on a pattern of honeytrap robberies, showing the true extent of the criminal's cold-hearted actions. A key mafia was convicted for his fatal knife attack, and Cleon Brown was sentenced, bringing a measure of closure to Saul's loved ones. While Detective Inspector Dale Mepstead worked tirelessly to bring justice to this tragic case, the victims and their families were left to grapple with the loss and devastation of Saul's death. This serves as a reminder of the irreparable damage that can be caused by exploitation and callous criminal acts. While those responsible were held accountable for their actions, the scars left by this tragedy will remain for a lifetime. What are your thoughts about this tragedy? Leave your comments down below. Also, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell to be notified for upcoming cases. You can also follow us on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter, at Urban Crime Stories. We greatly appreciate your support. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you next time on Urban Crime Stories.